Well, welcome everyone to the Savvy Sales Lady Live. I'm your host, Christine Harrington, and this is about mindset. It's becoming such a more popular subject than it has in the past. And so I've had people request more mindset Savvy Sales Lady Live. So that's what we're doing tonight. I'm giving you what you've asked for. So let's start off with the mindset drain, how your thoughts quietly drain your energy. And I have seen over the course of my 40 plus years in corporate insurance sales, I've seen more sales career killed because of mindset more than rejection. Now, mindset just doesn't apply to sales. It applies to anyone that is in the corporate world, in small business, a solopreneur, anyone inside the home working, mothers, dads, everyone has to deal with the mindset and the struggle up here. I'm going to lay out some facts for you that may surprise you. So I often hear people say to me that they're not selling because it's the economy, it's the competition. Actually, you're not selling because of your mindset. Those are the reasons that you're giving it. So you don't have to look at your mindset. But not the obvious negative thoughts will always catch us from time to time. So you know those negative thoughts that rear their ugly heads. And sometimes you'll catch those thoughts. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the quiet ones, the ones you don't even notice, because they're wearing the disguise of logic, preparation, and even responsibility. But underneath it all, they're draining your energy, stalling your progress, and dimming your motivation. So what I want to go over tonight and help you with is how your thoughts quietly drain your energy and how to take that power back. So let's get into the first segment, shall we? Let's get into it. All right. I want you to imagine for a moment that your mind is a battery pack. So think about that. Your mind is a battery pack, and every thought either charges that battery pack or drains it. Now, here's the kicker: most people are leaking energy all day long without even realizing it. Why? Because we have 60,000 thoughts that swirl through our minds all day long. We'll get more into that later. You might feel physically tired at 2 p.m., but it's not because you've just ran a marathon. It's because you spent the last 6 hours looping thoughts. I should have done more this morning. What if they don't call me back? I am so behind. All of these micro stresses triggers cortisol, the stress hormone. And cortisol doesn't just mess with your mood, it hijacks your clarity, your motivation, and your physical energy. Now, here's a science check. A 2016 study in biological psychiatry found that chronic negative thinking activates the brain's default mode network, which is your mental hamster wheel. Did you know that those 60,000 thoughts that are swirling through your mind all day, 90% of them are negative? Yeah. So what's the result? Mental fatigue, reduced focus, and sluggish productivity. So if you're ending the day feeling exhausted, but didn't physically do much, this might be why. Now, let's go into segment 2, shall we? Okay. The big lie. We're covering the big lie. Busy doesn't mean energized. It doesn't. Let's talk about a lie many high achievers believe: busy equals productivity. I hear this so often in coaching. I'm so busy, Christine. You don't understand. I've got so much to do, Christine. 9 times out of 10, you're busy here, not in real life. You're busy here. Sometimes busy is just a disguise for avoidance, right? And where does avoidance come from? A fear-based mindset. Oftentimes, we make it harder in our minds than when we actually go do the thing we're avoiding. It didn't take that much time and it didn't seem that hard. How many times has that happened? So oftentimes when you're in this fear-based mindset, you feel stuck, unsure, overwhelmed, and so you go organize your inbox, or you prepare another slide deck, or you tweak your call script for the third time. You'll do anything to avoid that one task you're avoiding. But that motion, it doesn't move you forward, does it? Instead, it's draining your energy while you're pretending it to be progress. Here's another stat. According to Harvard Business Review, people in a reactive mindset spend 60% more time on low impact tasks than those with a proactive, growth oriented mindset. Think about that. 60% more time on low impact tasks. And let me tell you how I know this is true. When I go in to train a sales team, I always do an assessment and I have them break down for me what it is that they spend their day on. So they have to track emails, follow-ups, phone calls, face-to-face appointments, Zoom meetings, all of this stuff that they do on a regular basis throughout their day. In all the teams that I have coached, 80% of their time is spent on non-sales activities. They're non-sales activities. So this lines up with Harvard Business Review that people are spending more time on low impact tasks. Making a cold call and following up and developing your prospect list, those are high impact tasks that can move your sales forward. So I challenge you to do this one thing this week. Take one day and track every activity you do. And then on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest impact, 1 being the lowest, see how many high impacts you do throughout the day. I'll bet your low impact is far greater than your high. And so you need to switch that, right? So how can we check yourself? Let's go over this little activity. This is called an energy audit. What thoughts are on repeat today? These are things that you're going to ask at the end of the day, right? Are they energizing or draining? What can I believe instead that serves me better? And then this is a really powerful question you should be asking every single day at the end of your workday. Did I move closer to my goal or did I just stay in motion? If you followed me for any length of time, you know I always talk about do an assessment at the end of each day. It only takes you a few minutes to ask, did I move closer to my goal or just stay in motion? What thoughts are on repeat today? Are they the same thoughts that you had yesterday? We'll go in more to that here in a minute. Are your thoughts energizing or draining you? What can I believe instead that serves me better? These are all great questions you should be asking yourself. So you want to write down your responses without filter. You want to be honest. You'll feel the answer in your body. You don't have to lie to yourself. Just reframe it. We all tell ourselves stories, right? We all do it. Catch yourself from telling that story over and over and over again. I'm so busy. I don't have time. No one will answer the phone. No one's answering emails. Those are negative thoughts that are being repeated that I'm going to simply ask you, is that true? 9 times out of 10, we make these assumptions that are not true. Now, if you catch yourself thinking, I'm just not good at this. I'm just not good at sales. I'm just not good at cold calling. I'm just not good at managing people. That's a draining belief. What's a neutral, empowering reframe? I'm still learning this skill. It's okay to be in progress. I'm still learning this skill. It's okay to be in progress. Now, this process is backed by neuroscience. A UCLA study showed that naming your emotion, just naming it, can calm the brain and help regulate stress responses. So, yes, it's that powerful to write it down, not type it out, but write it down. There's power and there's an actual neural link between your brain and actually physically writing something down. All righty. Now we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with the rest of the mindset drain. And I'm going to show you how to turn this around. If you like the Savvy Sales Lady Live, you're really going to like the Savvy Sales Lady newsletter. It's delivered in your inbox once a week. Why don't you go ahead and subscribe? The link is in the show notes below so you won't miss this upcoming newsletter. I give you one tip to focus on each week to implement immediately into your sales day. Why not sign up and learn just a little bit more? All right, we're back. Why not sign up and learn a little bit more? It goes out once a week. Sometimes I miss, sometimes it's on schedule. So happy to have you back here. Now we're going to move into segment 4, which is motivation is chemistry. So mindset and energy directly affect motivation. Motivation isn't a personality trait. It's a chemical process in your brain. Excuse me. I hear people say, well, he's just motivated. He's always motivated. Like it's his personality. It's not. It's because he has trained his brain to move forward and always in a positive light. The reward chemical dopamine plays a huge role in the whole motivational theory. But here's what most people don't know. Negative or pessimistic, had trouble with that word. Negative or pessimistic thinking patterns blunt your brain's dopamine response. In other words, when you expect failure or feel emotionally depleted, your brain stops sending motivational signals, even when there's a real opportunity in front of you. I shared this recently on LinkedIn, a story about a time in my life where I was struggling, just had a really personal struggle and crisis going on. And I was about ready to close this deal. And the prospect I was working with asked me to come in and present uh, to a group of people. When I got there, I wasn't feeling it because I had all of this going on in my head about my personal situation. And some people can check that at the door when they leave home. And then when they leave work, they can check that at the door. A lot of people can't. And especially if you're in a crisis situation, in a very personal situation. And that's what I was in at the time. So I went to the meeting and was not focused, was doing everything I could to stay focused. And this is what the man said to me, the prospect. Christine, is everything okay? You're not your usual self. Because my usual self is bubbly and outgoing, even though I'm an introvert, trying to connect with people and, just asking questions, trying to understand. But he picked up that there was something not quite right with me. And at that moment, I mean, that was a big wake up call for me. And I'm really, really glad he said that because I left that meeting and I really knew I had to work on my mindset before I went to another appointment. And that's what I did. So when you expect failure or feel emotionally depleted, like I said, your brain stops sending motivational signals. And that's a real danger, even when, like I said, there's an opportunity in front of you. So how does this work? Let me show you and share with you the thought loop. All right. Just how the thought loop works. Remember I said at the beginning, you have 60,000 thoughts that go through your mind all day long. Some are in your consciousness, some's in the subconscious, but 60,000 thoughts. Now, if you track this, and I hope you do, you can't possibly track 60,000 thoughts. I know that. But if you track some of the major thoughts that you're having, maybe you're worried about something, maybe something's troubling you, and you bring that into the next day, and then you bring those same thoughts into the day after that, and to the day after that. First of all, you're constantly living in the past. But second of all, you're creating a habitual thought loop. So if you wake up tomorrow morning and you're waking up and noticing the same thoughts you had yesterday, and then the day before that, and then a day before that, if you continue to carry those thoughts through, you've now created habitual thoughts. And if those habitual thoughts continue over weeks and months, that turns into a mood, whether good or bad, that will turn into a mood. And then if the mood prolongs even over more months, good or bad, that creates a personality. Have you ever met someone and they'll share with you, oh, so and so happens to be a really negative person. That person has created that negative personality because of his habitual or her habitual thought loops. That's why it's so important that you learn to control your thoughts and not let them run free like the wild, wild west, because you can easily slip into a bad mood based on negative thoughts that you're carrying forward from the day before, and then from the day after that, and from the day after that. And this is common with salespeople who fall into a sales slump, and now they start doubting everything they've ever done. They can't sell. That's what they tell themselves. That's what they've told me. I don't know if I'm good enough for selling. Maybe I need to learn new tricks and techniques. No, what you need to do is look back on your success and remind yourself that, yes, you do need to, or you do know how to sell. But what we need to do, examine the thoughts that you're carrying every single day that's telling you that you're no good, that you can't sell, that you're too old to sell, or you're too young to sell. I've heard both. Okay, so let me give you another stat. According to 2021 Nature Neuroscience study, mindset alters how the brain's reward centers respond to effort and progress. That's why shifting your thoughts isn't just about feeling good. It's about restoring your drive, your biochemically drive. So I want to talk to you just for a minute about feeling good. We've all been sold this concept that we have to feel good all the time. You're not your feelings. And if you attach yourself to feelings all the time, you will automatically slip into these bad moods. And you can stop that by, instead of trying to feel good all the time, feel neutral about things. If somebody says something that upsets you, try to shift your mindset to control your emotional meter to just remain neutral and know that that other person is probably going through something and just took it out on you. You know, we teach our kids this, right? When they're in school and as they're growing up. And then somehow as an adult, we forget this. So always try to have neutral feelings, not great feelings, not bad feelings. Just work on shifting to neutrality. And that'll help you stay out of those mood dips that maybe you're going through. All right. So let me talk to you. Your power is the pause. That's your power. If you're feeling drained, it's not weakness. It's not lack of talent. It's likely that your energy has been slowly siphoned off by the quiet thoughts you've allowed to run unchallenged here, like the wild, wild west. The good news is you can stop the leak. It doesn't take a vacation. It doesn't take 6 months of journaling. It just takes a pause, a 3-minute energy audit to ask yourself those questions, a shift in self-talk, and a choice to move forward with a thought that drives you instead of drains you. In the show notes below, I've left a link there for you. I've created a mindset restart starter kit, a mindset reset starter kit. And it includes the daily energy audit, the thought reframe prompts that I even expanded more in the starter kit, and a weekly mindset tracker that I really hope you take advantage of. And I also put in there a special 5-minute audio of me talking to you to reset your mindset. And you can listen to this anytime you feel off track. I hope you grab it. It's in the link below. Now, I want to thank you for being on the Savvy Sales Lady Live tonight. It's an episode to help you catch an energy leak. So I hope you share it with someone who's quietly burning out. And remember, the thoughts you allow will either build your business, build your sales, or break your breakthroughs. Do you want it to build or break? Control it. Stay savvy, everyone, and I will see you Thursday night.